I think that's why I'm so excited, is because I have been blessed to see what it looks like under the goat. And now you're going to the baby goat who's been, all the eyes are on her all around the world. And so it's just kind of a cool experience for everybody.
She has transformed our game in the most positive way, said Sophie Cunningham about Caitlin Clark in her recent interview since joining the Fever. While critics and skeptics continue to minimize Clark's influence, Cunningham's honest perspective as a seasoned player holds considerable value.
I am joined by Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham. And I just said Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham. You have been with the Phoenix Mercury for 6 years, now heading over to Indiana for the 2025 season. What does that feel like? How has that transition been?
But there's another powerful quote from Sophie Cunningham's interview with the New York Post that reveals even more. I've been that feisty player my whole career. Cunningham isn't just heading to Indiana to knock down threes. She's stepping in as the enforcer this young squad truly needs. Caitlin Clark has faced intense physical defense from day one, and having a teammate who's ready to stand her ground could be the game changer that elevates this team from good to great.
It is so funny that you even said that, because I'm so excited, but I'm still not used to it, just because I've been drafted out here. I've been here for 6 years. And so a couple weeks ago, I threw on the Indiana jersey for the first time, and everyone's saying I'm a Fever. And so I gotta get used to the new me, which I love. I'm so excited for. I think it's just such a great opportunity. I'm excited to play with the players that are there, play under the coaching staff that's there. And so I think this is just a new and exciting era for me and, everyone that I kind of part.
Did you know the Indiana Fever had just 5 wins a few seasons ago, placing them dead last in the league? That's the kind of deep hole they've been trying to climb out of, one that's far steeper than most people think. Even after selecting Elia Boston as the 2023 #1 overall pick, the team only managed a disappointing 13-27 record.
Yeah, I think Indy, those small year 1 through 3.5. Well, let me just say this. I went through my 7 years in Indy. I've had 4 head coaches. So that within itself was kind of like, no one really knows what an experience of like the black stick bottom. Trust me, I've been there. Trust me. So I was, that's really how it started,
Think about what that really means for a franchise at rock bottom. The Fever weren't just losing games. They were losing their place in the conversation. In a league where earning attention is already a challenge, their continued struggles pushed them further into obscurity. The situation grew so alarming that it became clear to everyone watching. A full-scale roster overhaul wasn't just a smart option. It was a matter of survival.
When y'all left, it was still a rebuild stage. So different coaches got hired. And I think that at that point, Delby was trying to figure out whether I would keep swimming or if I would sink individually. And I'll be honest, I didn't know what would happen in my career. I didn't know how it would turn out, because the point for the point, the accolades were accolades, but it wasn't enough.
That team winning. Team, not individual teams.
And anybody that wanted to compete and be a winner, about team.
Then came the 2024 draft, and just like that, everything changed. The Fever landed the #1 pick, and with it, Caitlin Clark, arguably the most impactful rookie the WNBA has ever seen. Overnight, the team no one was watching became the team everyone was talking about. But that kind of spotlight comes with pressure. Suddenly, the questions started flying. Would Clark's game translate to the pro level? Could this young roster realistically compete with the league's elite? And these weren't just doubts from social media chatter. They were valid concerns raised by seasoned basketball analysts. As talented as Clark is, she was stepping into a team still loaded with question marks and holes to fill.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
When the 2024 season tipped off, the early struggles only fueled the criticism. The Fever looked out of sync at times, completely disjointed, still trying to find their rhythm as a team. Caitlin Clark, in particular, was being physically challenged night after night. Opponents didn't hold back. Many seemed eager to welcome her to the league with extra contact and tough defense. The team's flaws quickly came into focus. They lacked grit. Their shooting was inconsistent, and perhaps most concerning, they didn't have an enforcer. No veteran voice to step in when things got rough. It became painfully clear talent alone wouldn't be enough. The Fever didn't just need skill, they needed experience. They needed players who had been through the wars, players who understood what it takes to win at the highest level. And most of all, they needed teammates who wouldn't shrink under the pressure that comes with having a spotlight as bright as Caitlin Clark's.
Are you in a position where you can add some pieces?
Yes, we are. We're definitely in a position, and I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her.
That's when the front office stepped in and executed what may be remembered as one of the most calculated rebuilds in recent WNBA history. The Fever's management responded by bringing in a strong mix of experienced players: Sophie Cunningham, Duana Bonner, Sydney Colson, and Natasha Howard. These weren't just seasoned athletes. They were leaders who had competed on the biggest stages, understood high-pressure environments, and could guide the young core in understanding what it truly takes to build a winning culture.
It's a wonderful fresh start for you. But before we look ahead, I kind of want to look back on your experience in Phoenix. Like you said, you were drafted there. You spent the last 6 seasons with the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, who just announced her retirement. What have you learned from her?
Oh man, I think we could sit here for days if we really went into that. But at the end of the day, I think that Dee is one of the best humans I've ever met. She has one of the best hearts. The way she not only thinks about life, but the game is just on a whole nother level.
Among all the veteran additions, none made a more striking impression than Sophie Cunningham. While the Fever front office quietly strategized behind the scenes, no one anticipated the bold statement Cunningham would deliver during her media appearances. Most veterans are cautious when talking about rookies, careful not to set expectations too high. But Sophie chose a fearless route that left basketball analysts stunned.
But you went from playing with a true legend of the game to now a rising legend of the game in Caitlin Clark in Indiana. What is it about her? What have you observed about Caitlin Clark now that you're going to be one of her teammates?
It was exactly what Cunningham needed after she got, quote, too comfortable across 6 seasons in Phoenix. Now she tells the New York Post that she's equipped to thrive in the spotlight while playing alongside Fever superstar Caitlin Clark. Quote, I think that since I've been out here in Phoenix, it hasn't always been easy, Cunningham, 28, said while discussing a partnership with Quest Nutrition. There have been a lot of trials. There's been a lot of lessons learned, a lot of experiences that I thought was just like any WNBA team. But I think it's built me. It's made me tougher. It's tested my persistence and my mental quite a bit.